Hello, hello. Oh, there it is. I turned your volume off, that's why. Can everybody online hear us? There it is. You can? Yeah.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Cool. All right. The next slide part. Cool, so tonight the objectives is to review the previous steps of the sales cycle. And then we're gonna learn and practice inspection and creating need, value, and urgency in the yard. So let's dive into the review. So, pop quiz. What's the next step of the sales cycle? Oh, Parker hit it.
All right.
What's the third step of the sales cycle most of the time? Which is part of what? Yes, that's right. Yep. Say out louder.
Overcoming objectives.
Overcoming objections. We're gonna beat this like a drum, but if you want to make a lot of money, be okay with this step and know it like the back of your hand. So overcoming objections, which a part of it is empathy, empathize, tailored response, and then close the question. What's the next step?
Present.
Yep. Present, which is tonight. Need, value, urgency. And the last step, always be closing. Cool. Awesome. So the initial approach. This is what you're going to use 90% of the time. And the guys who are selling hundreds and hundreds of pest accounts are using this a lot of times that they knock on a door. So the main one is you're all gonna have customers for the most part. Some neighborhoods you won't, but for now we're making a pretend name. You won't do that. But if you don't have a name of a customer, you'll name drop a street or someone that you've done an inspection with, or the best is when you have someone you've actually sold. And so it sounds like, hey, we just finished up work at Glenn's. Has anyone been by to let you know what's going on? So that's the initial approach. Very simple, less is more. And this is a tip for you all that I'll throw in real quick. I had a friend that came out that was getting the door shut on him a lot. And he was like, I don't know why people aren't like listening to me or they're not giving me time. And so I went out with him and he was just adding so many words and so much fluff and so much extra. And I said, I want you to keep these first two lines as simple as possible while still making sense. And then he started getting people that were listening to him way more because he wasn't overdoing it. So that's why we drilled this down so simple for you guys to start practicing that. And then inciting a response. This is one of the ways that we'll do that. Perfect, my trucks are in the area. We can fit you in. We can treat your home for about half off. So why do we lead with the discount? Just to review it compared to like talking about all the bugs in the neighborhood and everybody is having a street because there's so many bugs around and all that stuff. Why do we lead with the discount rather than bugs generally? You said that?
It gives value.
Like that, tell me, what does that mean?
It means that it's like if you do it now, you get it cheaper. If you do it later, it'll be full price.
I like that. So it brings value. So if they do it now, it's cheaper than waiting. It's more expensive. Luke?
People buy things when they're like a lot of times people care more about a discount than they do like what they're actually buying. Like they're more worried about getting a good deal. It's like the Black Friday mentality.
Yep. So we teach this. Oh, go ahead.
I also think it's kind of interesting. You've already made a whole round on the sales cycle by getting them to overcome the objection of not opening the door. Like, hey, I'll open the door. Then you present really briefly, like we're going to treat you, and then you ask for the close. You've already made a round on the cycle.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you're moving through that cycle to getting them involved, right? And so I want to add to both what you said. When you're using this, you're leading with a bigger net. There's more people that want to save a buck and save money rather than like people who have actual ants all over the house. And we'll meet those people every day, or spiders or wasps. But when you lead with this discount, you're going to catch more people with a bigger net leading with the discount. So great. We are going to have the man, the myth, the legend, David, show us this part. This is the nice, simple intro. So David broke the record last year. So this guy, if you have a phone, you're gonna want to record this.
Just YouTube it.
And it's on YouTube already too. So clipboards are in the office. I've got to grab one.
Yeah.
Cool. So as you watch David do this, he's done this thousands of times. But just pick out things you like of his body language, how he's saying it, and yeah, write down what you like from it and we'll talk about it.
Do you mind this one?
I'll be your customer. Hey, can I help you?
Maybe. I just finished doing some work at Tom's house across the street. Did anyone let you know I'd be dropping by?
No, what's up?
Okay, super quick. I do the pest control for Tom and Stacy and 20 others in the neighborhood.
Okay,
And if I can fit you in while my trucks are out here, I can do it for super cheap.
okay. How much are you talking?
I don't know the square footage of the house is.
Cool, awesome.
Nice.
You wanted some more? You're ready. You're ready to go.
That's all I'm ready for.
So, what were some things you noticed that David did there? That you liked? That you wrote down? And I see you got a book here. That's awesome. Good job. What were some things you noticed?
He just seemed pretty calm and collected, like he knew what he was talking about.
Yep. Seemed calm and collected, knew what he was talking about. That's lots and lots of practice. Put in tons of time. Parker?
Yeah, I think the way that that's expressed is by being slow. He's just really slow in his speech.
Yep. Love it. Yep. Ben?
He's like communicating to like the customer saying like, oh, like all your neighbors are having this. He's really like hammering in like you don't want to miss out on this like great deal that everybody else is getting.
The bandwagon. man.
Bandwagon.
So when you name drop like that, you're building credibility, especially the 20th thing, which that's what he added a little bit to that. My trucks are in the area, we're treating about 20 homes, I think is how he said it. So it built more value while he was there. So that was a good catch, Ben. Cool. Tanner?
I noticed that he gets the customer involved with helping him out. And he started that even like the first word he said, it was like, hey, can I help you? Maybe like you might be able to help me. Like it is instead of like I'm trying to sell you, is how is the customer getting engaged with David?
Yep. So online, if you didn't hear that, he said that he was helping the customer rather than like being salesy. And that he's an ultimate salesman, like he's really good, but when you come across as a messenger rather than a sales guy, that's where you're gonna go to another level. So cool. We have a little bit more review to do. So these are the 4 predictable responses. You can just click through all the way. So we practiced these last time. So when someone asks how much, what are you treating for? Not interested, and the intro to the switch over. So, who's been practicing this? Awesome. So these trainings, a lot of the times we're gonna have to be bold and get up and practice in front of some people. So I want to have some first years get up and we'll just do 2 of them. And you guys can take time to go over these again. But before we do that, let's read through these. And then if you're feeling up for it, I want to get 2 people up here to practice the one. They can choose which one they want to do. So, Jake, would you read the first one?
How much?
Yep.
Great question. What's the square footage? Perfect. I just need to do a quick inspection around the outside of the home and then I'll give you a free quote. Is the gate on the left or the right?
Right. Cool. And then you can popcorn somebody off. Garrett, can you read the second one?
Sure, what are you treating for?
Yep.
Great question. Let me show you. We take care of all the general pests in the area. What do you usually see the most of?
Perfect. And then after that, it's gonna loop back to getting them to ask how much, depending on what bugs they're seeing, right? So they all filter back to getting them to ask how much. Cool. Then we have the not interested. Who can read that for me? Rachel?
No worries. Just so you know, some of the neighbors have been seeing a little bit of pest activity, so they're taking advantage of discount. When's the last time you had professional service?
Cool. Then whatever they answer, you loop that back to getting them to ask how much, right? And then the switch over, who can read that? Who wants to switch over? A lot of people this summer. Oh, there comes, I do. Take over. Luke, take over, yep. Take it out.
Yeah. Totally. It's a great idea to have someone coming out. Who treats your home? How long have they been coming out? Just so you know, a lot of people are jumping on with us because we are local and doing a lot more for a lot better value.
Awesome. Great. So I just wanted to have two people come up. You can choose which one you want to do, but the lucky first person gets to choose the one they want. So who wants to get better? Who wants to go up and try it? Let's go. And what was your name again? Becca. Let's go. Getting better up here. Which one are you gonna choose? You get to choose.
Out of any. That's how much.
How much? We like that.
Smart girl.
Yeah. Smart.
She wants the buying side.
She wants to lay down. She wants the grandmother. All right, from the top.
You like knocking.
Yep.
You got it.
Hey, how can I help you? Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I just got home from work. What are you doing?
Yeah, we just finished up work at the Glenn's house up the street. Has anybody been by to let you know what's going on?
My husband's in home. I don't know what are you guys doing?
So my trucks are in the area. We can fit you in. We can treat your home for about half off.
Half off like pest control?
Mhm.
What would a price tag on that look like?
Yeah, do you know the square footage of your home?
It's like, do you need to know the exact, 500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is just a quick inspection around the outside of the home, and then I'll give you a free quote. You have the gate on the right or left.
It's over on the side.
Okay, great. You just throw on some shoes on the go.
Yeah. Money.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. I would have to be really nitpicky what I'd have you do again to like fix them. That was awesome. What did you guys like? That was awesome, Becca. What were some things you all liked?
Looked like that was your 1000th time doing that before. Just really good.
Yeah, you stayed super calm in front of everybody. That
New
was-
Hampshire's going down.
Yeah. Hampshire doesn't know what's about to hit him.
Yeah.
Her metaverbal is really good. Just kind of had just a good, you can tell me throughout the whole bit.
Yep. Wasn't up pitching. That was amazing. Very good.
It's pretty simple, but I really liked how she, which side's the gate on, started walking as we're taught. And then once she was corrected, then throughout the next line, cool, put some shoes on, let's see around back.
Yep.
Like it's just such a natural flow of correcting her direction and getting them to follow it.
Yeah, she was taking this situation and owning it. So my one tip is smile. But you're nervous. So that will help, especially when you're head nodding for you. I think that's just use that smile, be yourself. But I love it. Cool. Who wants to do one more and then we'll get into the meat. You either choose anyone besides how much. Let's go. What's your name? Jorge, let's go. Jorge, let's get back. There you go. Who brought you into the Pointe family? Who you're here with? Hiram. He's on here. Which one are you choosing?
What are you treating for?
Okay, awesome. So pretend you have a bug sheet. No, I don't think you do. And you remember the body language for this? Okay, I might stop you and we'll do it again, but I want to see you run it and we'll go from there. So you're gonna ask them what you're treating for, and then you're gonna go back to the how much after. You got that?
Yep.
Let's go. Let's see it, all right.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, is anyone by to let you know what's going on?
No, what's going on?
So I'm here for pest. We just got done doing work over right here at Glenn's house. Dang.
You're okay.
You're good.
So start from the top.
Okay, start from the top.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Still good?
We just got done doing work at Glenn's house. Anyone been by to let you know what's going on?
No, what's going on?
So I'm here for pest control. We have our trucks in the area. If I can fit you in right now, we can get you done for half off.
Okay, what do you guys even treat for?
Oh, good question. Let me show you. So here are bugs over here. And we treat for all the general pests in the area.
All right, so pause right there. That was really, really good to that point. Way solid. I want to help you with the body language. So right now, have you watched UFC? Conor McGregor. So right now you're squared up like you're like a UFC fight, like in their face.
Yeah.
So that will send off alarms in somebody that like, oh, this guy is squaring up with me, like, just naturally. So what we want you to do, I'll show you real quick, so I'll be step back away. Is great question, let me show you, you did really good there. You hand him it and you stand right next to him, so it's you and them against the bugs. And then you point out a couple bugs, we treat for a few of these guys and these guys. And then you step to the side, you still keep it angled. I call it like you play basketball? Or you like basketball?
Yeah.
Okay. Like a defensive slide out of a side step, so you're not, instead of this. You feel the difference? Take a charge. You don't want to take a charge, you want to just get out of the way. So let's have you just practice the body language real quick. So stand next to him. And then sidestep out after you, and then ask the question. What have you seen in the past?
What have you seen in the past? Cool. We get a ton of mice and wasps. I was thinking someone on the side step.
Yeah, the defensive slide.
So when they admit bugs like that, try to get, now you're gonna wrap it back to the how much. So you're gonna go across them. We definitely take care of that. Like I said, if I can pitch in, I can do it for super
Yeah,
cheap.
awesome. So we can take care of it. And like I said, if we can get you in, the next couple of days, we can get you on Friday. Sick, sign me up, dude.
Let's go. I'll try it one more time from the what are you treating for to that point, and then we'll, that was great. Let's just try the body language one more time.
What are you guys even treating for? Great question. Let me show you real quick. So we treat for these guys over here, just the general bugs in the area. Okay. What have you seen in the past? We get a crap ton of spiders. Well, like I said, we can get you in for about half price. We get you in a couple of days. Dude, heck yeah, do it.
Yeah. Thanks for volunteering, man. It's gonna help you a ton. You'll never forget that now. So yeah, be bold, get up here and practice when we ask, and with your teams, keep practicing. So we'll dive into the meat, keep practicing these, and if you haven't practiced with your manager yet, let's make a goal this week to practice, hit somebody up, practice. So, anything to add, Parker?
No, that was awesome.
Okay, let's dive into it.
Okay, so, I'm gonna be drinking water throughout, got a little cough going on. Trying to survive the winter here. So tonight we're gonna be talking about presenting and inspections. So this is a fun part, like Austin said, this is where you're getting to know someone, they're getting to know you a little bit. The porch feels very like memorized to some extent, like there's a framework that you're really sticking in, which is on purpose. You want to keep in control and kind of filter the conversation out of the gates, right? So the the next step after you get a how much is, or your next goal is to get on an inspection, which is like basically where you're now explaining what we do and asking or answering their questions and telling them how often we come and why they should buy, just all the, this is where it all goes down. This is where you explain what they're getting and what, what pest control is and stuff. So there's three main things that you need to cover on an inspection, and they're listed right here. You need to cover the need, so like why pest control, the value, why us, like why, if they're gonna go with pest control, why they should choose us, and then the urgency, which is why they should get pest control, choose us, and do it now or tomorrow or soon, and not like in a month or two, right? If any of you serve missions, you know, like if it doesn't happen now or soon, it's not gonna happen. Like, so yeah, that's what we're gonna try to help you do tonight, is explain all this stuff and then tie the customer down and get them to make the decision this time around. So cool. So here's just a couple tips for the inspection. First off, make sure they join you in the backyard. Most of your inspections, you want the customer to join you, because this is again where you're presenting. And if you don't have a customer to present to, then it's not going to be super effective, right? There are exceptions to this. Like old people that are in a wheelchair or whatever, you can go do a lap around their house and then come back to them and do this like back on their porch. Not every single house you'll do one of these inspections. And so sometimes on the porch, you'll do this need, value, and urgency. But most of the time, most of your sales, you're going to be doing an inspection like this. So you want to join them in the backyard, or you want them to join you. Introduce yourself is the first step. So I think we did the fist bump thing for COVID, but I think we're past that whole weird
can delete
thing.
that.
Yeah. COVID was like really awkward with this. You would like meet them in the backyard and it was just like natural, like.
They shake
Good to
your
meet
hand.
you, by the way. Parker. Yeah, did you have a question?
Yeah, for like those that can't join you in the yard, like you say.
Yeah.
Is it advisable to just take pictures of problem areas?
Yeah, you could do that. I do that sometimes. Yeah, my wife, like, if she's trying to find a picture on my phone, she always teases me because I have like a zillion. Like, just like bugs around the side of someone's house and.
I like to
Yeah.
get them, like, if, like, some old ladies or old folk, they like to like get right to the door. And I'll try to like, if at all possible, get them as close to the door as possible in the backyard. Because sometimes I can like, maybe get a step or two away to show them, but unless it's like, they can't move.
Yeah.
For the most part, even the older folks that,
They can get back there.
they can still get.
Yeah.
They can still get to the screen door to see something.
So step number one is you introduce yourself and the company that you're representing. So notice on the porch, there's not a lot of like, hey, this is my name, this is who I'm with. We're trying to create credibility really early, and the way we choose to do that early is by telling them the name of the customer or the name of the street we're working on. It just kind of helps with that credibility, but here you want your customer to know your name and you want to feel like a human to them. So introduce yourself. Ask a couple of questions. And there's two main questions you're going to ask every time you do an inspection. These help a ton. They're not just like shoot the breeze questions. They'll feel that way to the customer, but you're asking these on purpose because they help you know how to best tailor your message to their situation. Questions are: one, how long have you guys been in the home? And two, have you ever had a pest company before? Why might we ask those two questions? Maybe someone that's sold. All of those two questions help you sell a lot of accounts. Yeah, Mace?
I love when someone's had a service done before, because you can really play on that to your advantage.
Yep.
I usually say the phrase like, oh, well, then you know how it works.
Yeah.
And they'll agree with you. And then from there, like a lot of the stuff that you'll cover that you need to cover. You're like, well, you know, we come out 4 times a year.
Yeah.
You know that we pay monthly, or like, you can really use those to like eliminate.
Yeah, there's some little one-liners you're gonna use throughout that will be perfect for a situation. You know, like, let's say they just moved into a neighborhood, and then if you didn't ask this, then you wouldn't know that, right? But if they just moved in, I like to ask, I've been here a really long time, and I'm kind of like holding their hand through this process of like moving into the neighborhood. And like pest control with us is just like what you do if you live in this neighborhood, right? But I'm not gonna speak to someone like that if they've been here for 25 years. That would be weird. So like those questions can be really, really beneficial. Again, if they haven't had a service, then it's gonna feel a little bit more educational to the customer, right? Like what pest control is and why people buy it and things like that. But if they've had a service, then you can say things like Mason said, like, oh, then you know how this works. You're still gonna explain stuff to make sure it's a solid account, but you may not have to get into the weeds as much with that customer, right? So you're starting with those two questions, and then again, the 3 things are need, value, and urgency. So we're gonna be talking about that next. Let's keep going. Okay, so need. If they haven't mentioned bugs yet, talk about the neighbor's experience is the first thought. So maybe 1 to 3 of your accounts, like if you sell, let's say someone sells 4 or 5 in a day, or like, let's take David. David last year averaged like 5-6 accounts a day. I would guess that most of David's accounts on the porch didn't admit that they were dealing with bug issues. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 of them, but not all of them, like for sure. So with those customers, someone like David, to start, so after he asked those 2 questions, his next move is something like, you know, in this neighborhood, what the neighbors have been noticing is X, Y, and Z. So he might talk about the bugs that are just being seen in that neighborhood, but he doesn't have much yet to work with this customer. So that's where you're going to start. If they have mentioned or admitted bugs at their house, then that's where you're going to pick up. So if on the porch, when you went, you know, like Jorge's thing, what have you guys noticed at your home? And they're like, we have ants like pretty often in the warm months. Right here on the inspection, I'm going to pick up right there with ants, right? So I'm going to go, how long you guys been in the home? Awesome. We'll talk about that for a minute. Have you guys had a service before? No, we haven't. Okay, cool. Hey, so you mentioned you were dealing with some ants. So let's talk about that. So I'm gonna pick up right there. Show them bugs around the home. Don't get crazy with this, but you can have fun with it. Like, you don't have to find bugs or see bugs to sell an account. In fact, most of the time, you're not gonna like see overwhelming pest control problems on inspections. And when you do, you know, if a customer is emotional about it, you can be emotional, but your default is gonna be like, you don't need to make it a huge deal, like it's bugs, right? You don't have to oversell it or exaggerate. What you're selling with this is like peace of mind. So with need, that's the biggest thought, is you're just selling peace of mind. And yeah, don't make it too big of a deal.
To add to that, there's like a pendulum of where people are at. They're either really hyped or like hate that you're in their yard sometimes, and they're like
Not emotional about bugs
not
at all.
emotional about bugs either or whatever. And you want to be, you don't want to be past where they're at emotionally. So if they're super hyped about bugs, you don't want to be more hyped than them. You want to be like right where they're at. And same if like they're not super, they don't really care about bugs too much, but they're interested in protecting their home, then you want to be like, you want to kind of match it. We call it mirroring and echoing. So this is a cool spot where you can do that.
Cool. So show them, you can use slicks, like you'll have bug sheets you can use real bugs if you want. But yeah, any questions on the need, establishing the need with the customers? Or any other thoughts from reps that have sold? Yeah.
People don't like you to point out their problems.
Yeah.
That's something I struggle with. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at your wasp mess. You kidding me? They get like super embarrassed, like, oh, like, sorry, yeah, we haven't got around to cleaning that yet. Or and I learned when you would shift that, be like, oh, a lot of the neighbors have been seeing just a little bit of wasp like this too, and that's why they're buying it. It connects them like so much better.
Yeah.
Than like you pointing out their problems that they have and how dirty their house is, to like, hey, we're all on the same page. This is why we're doing it. It's really good.
Yep, I like that.
Took me a minute to figure that one out.
So one last thought with need is your goal is to find their hot button. Does anyone know what a hot button is in sales? What's a hot button? What's that?
It's the thing that makes, it's the last straw. I have to have this.
Yeah, it's the thing that they might get emotional about, or it's like their trigger, right? It's like their thing that like does pique their interest. So it might be ants, it might be spiders, it might be that the neighbor that they really love, like you brought it up that John's doing it, and they keep bringing that up. And so they're literally a need might be John's doing it, and you just hit that a couple times. So your goal is to find their hot button, and that's the whole purpose of the need. So there's a little bit of back and forth here with the customer in the need section. So let's move on to the value. So the goal is that you're using bugs and talking about bugs to some extent to find a need. And then you get into value, and there's three main steps here in value. The first is scope of service. So this is where you're going to explain what the technician will do to solve this need that we just discovered together when he or she comes out, right? So we figured out a need. Okay, now how do I go and help you with that need? How do I resolve that for you? So to give you guys just a basic understanding of what our techs do, and we're going to not get into this tonight. We're just going to teach the process. But basically, our technicians, we're mainly treating the home. So we focus on the home. That's like our service. So we're going to treat the foundation of the home 3 feet up and 3 feet out, like around the whole foundation. And then we do the eaves of the home, which is like underneath the roof line for like cobwebs and wasp nests. And so we do the base of the home, we do the eaves of the home, and then usually we'll do like windows and doors for webs or bugs around there. And then we granulate in the yard. And that's like, that's a basic explanation of what our technician is going to do. But when you're explaining this part to the customer, you want to keep their need in mind, right? So if they're really emotional about ants, you're mainly going to focus on the foundation of the home and the service that we're going to be doing there, because that's what's tailored to the ant issue that they have, right? So just make sure you're not being a robot when you're speaking in terms of what the tech's going to do. Remember their need, and you're going to kind of speak to that. Then you're going to explain how often we come. So in every one of our locations this summer, we come 4 times a year. So once a quarter, which is very standard in pest control. Because the product, regardless of like the company, the best pest control product in the world only lasts like 3 to 4 months. So past that, a company can't guarantee the service anymore. So if a company only comes twice a year or once a year, then they stop being able to like put their name on it as a guarantee. So that's why we come 4 times a year, is we want to be able to guarantee our work. Which is the third thing. So those kind of run together, but here you're explaining we come once every 3 months or 4 times a year. Once a season is another way you can explain that. And then you're going to explain that we come for free in between those visits if they see bugs. So that's what the customer gets, is a guaranteed service if they hire us. Any questions on that? Yeah.
So like, let's say you spray to like Monday, there's 2 bugs on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Are people trained to be like, okay, just give it a couple days, let's see how it's working?
Yeah, so on the first visit, we'll usually ask the customer to give it a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's super normal for them to see some bugs after that first one. After the second visit, like it should look kind of like a drop off, like throughout the year, it should just drop off more and more. But the customer, I would say a month in, is if they're still seeing bugs, they're allowed to start calling us. And we'll come back and touch it up and treat it again, because that's what they get as our customer. Cool. Yeah.
I would just say that it's super important for the rep to clarify that with the customer as they're like signing paperwork, so that the expectations there, like,
Yep.
this is not an immediate like science magic, or like it's just an here. Like,
Yep.
I tell people like to expect an uptick in pest activities, so that if they don't, like, they love our service even more.
Yeah. So this is where like the quality of your accounts comes into play, but if you'll explain this stuff really well, and your managers will teach you how to do this. So they're really well trained at teaching you how to set the right expectations with customers, but that is part of this this presentation we're doing. So again, within this value, it's scope of service, what the tech's gonna do, how often he or she's gonna come, and then that we guarantee our work. So those are the 3 steps in value. And then the last one is urgency. So the key with urgency is reminding them that the technicians are out in the next day or 2. If we can fit them in, then we'll do it for a discount, right? So you set that tone on the porch, like that's our pitch, right? On the porch, the pitch is, if I can fit you in, my trucks are here, if I can fit you in, I can do it for super cheap. So you're just staying with that same message, and you're reminding the customer of that right before you get into showing them the price. So right after this, we're going to show them the price, and we're going to teach that at the next training. But you want to, right before you show price, remind the customer of that urgency. Because if you don't, then what will the customer say usually?
Can I get a car?
Yeah.
We'll decline.
Well, think about it. Can I get a card? That's a really common objection if the customer doesn't understand the urgency. So it's important to bring that up once or twice, even on the inspection, is this idea of like, cool, so yeah, that's what we do. Like I said, if you'll work with me on the timing, then I can do this for a discount for you. Let me show you the price. So then the price comes right after this. So yeah, hold the line on the tone that you've already set. Let me read this. They haven't already asked you price, then bring up the discount again after creating the value. If they have asked you price, then remind them of the discount. Yeah, so this is just like setting the tone for showing them the price. The big message here is once you do your value explanation, just put a plug in for, like I said, my trucks are here. You don't want to be really repetitive with that. So there's other ways you can word it. Like I said, I'll show you the price. If you work with me on the timing, I can discount it and then just show them the price. So any questions on this inspection? So this is your presentation, right? So I'd like to show this. I'm dying. I can't talk, so I have someone else show this. What veteran feels comfortable showing this? Mason, let's have Mason get up here. Mason's our top rookie of all time, so we're gonna have Mason do this.
We got the top rookie and the top veteran.
Let's go. I need to sit down. I can't talk.
Is there a Savoy picture or something?
Oh, let me go check.
Bug stuff?
So just to add, like, as you guys are practicing,
There's one over by the sandwiches.
if you haven't done this before or seen it, the main thing to pay attention to is just the flow of it. And right now, you don't need to know like every single part of it if you haven't done this yet, but as soon as you guys can remember the flow, and where you're at as you're in the backyard, that's my tip for you. So watch that as Mason's doing it, like the flow of it. So
Should we start on should we just start in the backyard?
What if they ask about if it's safe for their cats or their?
That's just a common objection.
That's just an objection.
Yeah, so we'll use that same pattern of empathy, tailored response, close. So if I get that objection, I might say totally, we get that. If that's important, your pets, we understand that, just so you know. The stuff we use is really safe. It's used in like hospitals, vet clinics, dog green products. Have you guys ever looked into safe pest control before? Something like that. So empathy, tailored response, close, and then it resolves it and pushes it forward.
yeah, just practicing coming in the backyard.
Okay, so we're just meeting in the back.
Awesome. So, hey, my name's Mason, by the way.
Well, I'm Bob.
Bob, it's good to meet you. Thanks for giving me the time.
Yeah, no problem.
You have a beautiful yard. You got a lot of kids out here running around.
Thank you. Yeah, got 10 kids.
We'll be super quick with you, Bob. Thanks for giving me this time. We'll be real quick with you. So,
Sure.
how long have you lived in Hope for?
We've been here 5 years.
Okay, awesome. You guys like the area?
Yeah, we love it here.
Yeah, I've only been here for a couple months, but I
That's awesome.
love the area.
Yeah.
Really good people.
Yeah,
Thanks, you guys.
we appreciate that.
Sweet. Well, have you guys ever used a pest control service in the past before?
I think it's been a while. We used to have a guy, and I'm not sure what happened to him.
Okay. You're right. Well, we'll come to
We don't have one right now. We do have the ants.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're
Information.
talking about. Okay. Well, we definitely help take care of those. We're actually a local family-owned company here in the area.
Cool.
So all the neighbors have been loving our services, especially with the big discount. deal.
Cool.
So let me kind of show you what we're doing over here with the ants.
Sure, yeah.
Bob, with some of the ants you guys have been seeing, where do you guys typically see them most? More
We get them in the
outside or
kitchen.
inside?
We get them in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when the ants come in the kitchen or
Mhm.
like in the house, how much do you charge them rent to be in the
I
house?
wish more, not enough.
Okay. I'm just messing with you. It's kind of annoying when they get in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, let me show you what we do to flush them out and prevent them from getting back inside.
Okay.
So I'll show you here on this
Yeah.
picture here.
Sure.
You can see along the base of the home here,
Mhm.
a lot of the bugs actually will get under these side panels.
Mhm.
And they'll nest up inside the walls.
Mhm.
And that's how they're kind of getting.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, so what we'll do for you, Bob, is we'll apply a product on the home,
Mhm.
about 3 feet up and 3 feet out.
Okay.
That'll be around the whole perimeter of your home.
Okay.
And what that'll do for you is it'll flush all those ants out for you.
Okay.
The best part is it actually will prevent them from getting back inside.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, so let me ask you, Bob, with some of these like tables and patio furniture,
Mhm.
would you maybe be all right with us pulling those out?
Yeah,
So
that'd be
you
fine.
can find them?
Sure.
Awesome, perfect. Well, let me show you else kind of what we're doing, with some of the neighbors that have really been loving.
Mhm.
A lot of the neighbors have been seeing, just a little bit of spider webs.
Yeah.
Maybe a wasp nest here too.
Mhm.
Is that something you guys maybe dealt with before?
A little bit. Yeah, ants are the main thing with us, but we definitely, I think we see some stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty common. So that, perimeter treatment we do around the base will take care of all that problems for you.
Cool.
But let me just ask you with, some of the wasp nests and spider webs.
Yeah.
When my technician comes out,
Mhm.
he's actually gonna take a big brush,
Mhm.
25 to 4,
Mhm.
and I'll sweep all the spider webs, and knock down all the wasp nests for you.
Okay.
But the best part is he'll apply a product up there
Mhm.
and it'll help prevent those things.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, I can't reach some of those spots up there. so-
Yeah, the 25-foot pole is nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you, Bob, and you remember the discount I mentioned?
Yeah.
before? Okay. So normally, if you were to call our office,
Mhm.
the treatment up in the eaves is extra.
Mhm.
But with the discount that I'm putting with my trucks, we're actually including that part for free.
Okay.
Is that something you maybe want to see?
Yeah, what does that look like, the price?
Yeah, for sure. Let me show you kind of how the price works. I just got a few spots left in my.
That was awesome. Make it.
Yeah.
That was really, really good, like very high level. That's why Mason sold a ton. I loved that that felt really conversational and not like he was, pitching me on something, but we were just back and forth and talking. But yeah, what stood out to you guys? I guess with these, with those 3 things in mind, the need, value, urgency, what were some things you heard that, helped you out? Luke and then Jorge.
His soft close on pulling the furniture out away from the house was money.
Yeah.
Just like getting that yes, like building that yes
Yeah.
ladder early on.
Yep.
Yeah, that was So money.
For those of you that are new, a soft close is like a temperature check. So he asked a question, he asked if I'm okay with pulling the furniture off away from the house, which is him like checking my temperature on if I'm interested in this and how I'm perceiving what's going on right now, basically, which I responded positively to. So he kind of knew he had me, right? Yeah. Jorge?
I was gonna say the same thing, it's like assuming the sale.
Yeah.
And put that, I get to add something, just. The value he gave them, like, usually like, with these, we have like anchor cards. or
Yeah.
Read,
Yep.
you know, value.
Yeah, building big value. Yep. That was awesome. What else?
I know like urgency might come like later, right? But I liked how he, at the very beginning, like, we're like, thanks for giving me some of your time, you know, we'll make this really quick.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to fit you in.
Yeah.
We want to give you this half discount.
Yep.
So. And then that's it.
Yeah, I love how, I love how he set the stage with that too, Ben. I think like people. Again, this is a part where you can feel like a human and be yourself. And I think, don't be a robot here. Like you can be genuine and compliment people and connect with them. And people buy from people that they like and trust. And I liked and trusted Mason in the 5 minutes. I met him. Huh?
Me and Bob are tight.
Yeah, we went way back. We connected big. So, yeah, maybe one more thought. One more observance that you liked, Park.
Yeah, I thought something that was good is he kind of got down to what bug was their hot button.
Yes.
Right off the start, and then that's what he addressed first.
Yep.
So it definitely shows that he's hearing that customer out, not just trying to throw the product at that customer.
Yep. So my hot button was ants, right? And what did he mainly focus on with scope of service?
Keeping them out.
Yeah, ants, right? He mainly targeted the ant thing. So that's just a good reminder that when you find their need, go with it, right? And stay with it and then explain the rest of the scope really
Like a
briefly.
cherry on top.
Yeah, the rest of it's cherry on top. The spiders and wasps were cherry on top. He didn't oversell it or talk too much, because you can talk too much here. And you can, like, if you're too long-winded here, you lose momentum. So be brief, tell truth, speak truth, find their need, present the value, and then close. Like the best sellers can sell using the least amount of words possible. Does that make sense? And I know that's new, because like a lot of us, when we think of salespeople, we think of like a car salesperson that just like loves to hear himself talk. And we want to be the opposite, like find their need, explain what we do, explain how often we come. We guarantee our work, close. So, cool. I think that's it, right?
Yep.
Cool. So practice this. This is obviously a little bit more of a, there's a little bit more to this than like a couple sentences. Like this is different than the porch where you do a name drop, ask a question, and you're getting into it, and that's kind of it. Like this is a little bit more back and forth, and you need to understand this framework. And the more time you will spend with managers, the more comfortable you'll be when you round someone's corner for the first time in whatever part of the country you'll be in this summer. You'll feel a little bit more comfortable if you practice this a bunch, right? So, yeah.
I first appreciate all you guys' comments. Thank you. No one pointed out that I forgot the frequency and guarantee. I definitely forgot. I just went right over my head.
Actually, I noticed that.
He was rolling into it.
I was thinking about it, but yeah, the once a season, and guarantee I missed on.
Which you can kind of make up for that, because in rate car, you can go and recover on that and teach him that, but.
Yeah, if someone closes themselves, like, that was a high level, because the guy wanted to be closed, you can close right away.
I actually kind of cut you off and asked like how much, which, yeah, in that situation, it's probably better to just get into it and then educate them on that and backtrack, but yeah.
High level
Cool.
stuff.
Any other questions from tonight or things that you guys feel like you need help with?
What if
Yeah.
the yard is like absolutely massive? Because you said we're treating the house mostly, but the house, obviously, if the house is massive, that's a different question, but
Yeah,
are we doing it, you say granulating in the yard?
yeah, but we're not gonna do, if they have a big yard, we're not gonna do the whole thing, because we're a structural pest control company.
Okay.
So we focus on the structure.
Okay.
And then the other stuff is cherry on top.
Anything that can affect.
However, there are like, you can sell some like auxiliary stuff like mosquito, flea and tick. And that, like, if they pay for that, then they can get like a big yard treatment. So there's some of that stuff we can sell, but our bread and butter is gonna be like structure of the home.
And they granulate 30 feet out from the home, so wherever that 30 feet
Yeah,
is.
that is gonna depend, some of it's gonna depend on the location though, too. Because some branches will do one thing there with like granulation, and you'll find that out when you guys get out.
States have different laws and stuff too that you'll learn.
What other question? That's a great question.
So we're gonna.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for coming tonight, and we will be here again next week. So we're gonna keep doing these sales trainings. We are gonna have one more personal development. It's gonna be an awesome one. But it's not gonna be for a couple weeks. So we're gonna load up on a bunch of sales trainings in a row so we can kind of keep ramping up for summer. So we're 1 month away for some people. It's gonna be awesome. So crazy. But okay, awesome. Thanks for coming tonight.
coming, guys.
See you guys. Sorry, my voice is terrible.
Grab some food if you haven't already, or if you haven't, want some, take some. Thank you for joining online. Shout out to the peeps online.